Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Lone Oak Farm. It's the end of autumn almost. It's day 5 into the late part of the season. It's around 7:30 in the morning. We're making our way over to our combine shed so we can go and collect our auger and get our combines up. We do need to do our harvest today, our corn harvest. It's the last crop that we have remaining that we need to bring off the field. And don't forget, we still have fields 5 and 6 up near the BGA that also need to be cleared as well. Now we're going to try and chaff those. Unfortunately, we are a little bit sort of beholden to the weather at the moment. This is a kind of a spillover from yesterday's rain. It's still a little bit damp, as you can see. So we're going to get into the shed, get the auger out, and then we're going to drive over to the corn and we're going to scan it with our Wopster and see just how damp the corn actually is. I'm hoping that it's going to dry out pretty quickly. I mean, it hasn't rained since yesterday afternoon, so we shouldn't be too far away, but obviously there's no sun at the moment, which isn't helping. Let's get the lights on as well. There we go. A bit dark in here still. Sun should be coming up in the next sort of 20 minutes or so. There we go. So our corn is over here. Let's take a shortcut across our field. And you may notice that the finance is looking a little bit lighter than it should. I did say that I was going to buy something special. That has been paid for. Just have to wait for it to arrive, as here comes the sun. Okay, so let's get the Wopster out and scan our corn. And AC crop moisture is at 21%. We need that to be at 20 before we can start harvesting. So hopefully it's not too far away with the sun coming up. And I think by the time we get... Let's turn the engine off. By the time we get our harvesters sort of out, unfolded and in position, I'm hoping that we'll be ready to go on this. So I'll... make a run back to the shed, grab the equipment, and I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, there we go. We have 20% ground moisture. We had to wait quite a while for that to pop up, but it is now in place. So let's immediately start harvesting away. We've got a lot of corn that we need to get through. As you can see, big field here, and then another big field the other side of this as well. I'm going to do the usual thing, putting in my border along here because of the telegraph poles. Then we'll put a border along the bottom edge because of the path. And then might do one along the top because of that tree, but hopefully we won't have to do that. I have got my auger wagon just down there, just down the road, ready and waiting for a quick unload. The other combine set about halfway across the field, ready to start chopping this thing into pieces so that we can work it a bit more efficiently. But as I say, we do need to kind of get this border done first. Because that is a lot of corn. As you can see, you can just about make out, if I zoom out, you can just about make out that little thin line just near the top, which is the pathway between the two fields, and then the other field extends over the other side of the hill and down. So you're only seeing just a little bit of the other field there. A lot of stuff for us to process. And this is our only day of good weather remaining, really, this year before before it's too late. You can see tomorrow we've got rain forecast. Again, it depends what time that rain falls as to how bad that could potentially be as a write-off day. And then we're into winter, and that's it. You know, any crops that have not harvested by that point will die. So it's basically get it done today and possibly tomorrow, or don't get it done at all. It's the basic premise. Now the corn, we've got no problem getting all of this corn in today. That's going to be absolutely fine. It's a bit frustrating we had to wait until 10 o'clock before we could even try and get started. You know, considering the rain fell yesterday. But when you don't have much sunlight, or you don't have, you know, high temperatures, which is typical at this time of year, it just takes that much longer for everything to dry out, which then leaves you in a position where you are just kind of twiddling your thumbs, waiting and waiting and waiting until you can actually get onto the grain and get started. Not ideal. We have lost a couple of good harvesting hours this morning already. As I said, it's not going to be a problem for this, but it just takes time away from our other fields. So 5 and 6, I was thinking of harvesting those as well. Now we might have to chaff it and turn it into silage, because we might not have enough daylight hours left today to do that, and it might rain. So it might rain tomorrow early in the morning, which means the whole day is going to be basically a washout, you know, while it dries out, and it'll be useless corn, so it'll have to be chaffed, because that will be the only way we'll be able to get it off the field. It's a difficult choice. It all depends how long it takes us to get this corn harvested here. So just coming up to the edge of the first field. There's the edge of the second field there. You can see it goes back quite a way. One pass down there, and then this here has pretty much filled up the combine, as you can see. That's a lot. We're going to end up with a large amount of corn off these two fields, and I'm not sure if I want to add in. That's the other thing. You know, I thought about harvesting the corn, just go for a massive corn harvest, but the other point is, do I really want to have that much corn at the end of the year waiting to be sold off? Because that's the situation we're going to find ourselves in if I do go ahead and harvest fields 5 and 6. Oops, just took out a stalk there. Maybe it would be better to chaff it, just simply from a logistics point of view. I need to think about it. We'll see how we go. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in, and see how much we get off this field as well. Right, I have done a second pass down that side, and we've also done a double pass over this end here, as you can see. So everything seems to be starting to stack out quite nicely in terms of the setup. I'm cutting the field into two sections here. This combine is going to be turned left at the top to come back down the other side, and then we'll get the other one started just going up this side and deal with that. And the reason I'm going to do it that way is because the other one is almost full, so we can jump on unloading that one as it comes up here, and this one will be about, well, maybe not quite, but will be partially full on the other way back down. So again, we'll be staggering their unload needs to give me time to unload one and then spin around and grab the other one, just so I can keep them both running consistently. That's kind of the plan. So I just need to wait now until we get to the top, and then make sure I turn this one left. Must remember, turn left. Because if I don't keep saying it, I will forget, and I'll just let it turn right as a default. I've been looking at the map and thinking, what would I have done differently if I'd gone with different field choices? Which fields would I have gone with? And I honestly don't know. I mean, I think there's I drive past some of the fields as I'm making my way down to the store or to a certain location, and I see certain fields and go, oh, that would be a great field to have done the harvest on. And I don't know, I like the look of that block of 26 and 27 being joined together, perhaps 17 and 15 potentially joining those. You know, there's some really interesting shaped fields that we could potentially have done that we didn't. Who knows? Maybe we'll revisit Lone Oak Farm on FS17 when it comes out. But, we'll certainly have a look at the map when it comes out, see what's changed. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if I end up revisiting and doing another farm here on Lone Oak. I probably won't, to be fair, because as I say, we've done 3 years on this farm. That's a lot. I don't really know if I want to just come back and do it all over again. And we could go somewhere different and have a new experience rather than sort of retreading old ground. We'll see. We'll see what things are like, and we'll see just how good that map is as well on 19. Right, I need to quickly jump into my Magnum and tag that first combine that I've just released, because he's practically full. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he does fill up before I get the chance to get to him. Oh, faster, faster, faster. Gotta keep him running. This is going to be tight. This is going to be very tight. Ah, the other one's just hit 80%. Okay. And this one stopped, damn it. I need it to keep running. Just take a little bit out, back away till it gets started. I kind of need to tag that one as well before he turns. We've screwed the timing up on this. I'll have to jump into the other combine and stop him. They both need to be travelling in the same direction at the same time. It's the only way I'm going to be able to do this. Just park there for a second. This is going to be the quickest way of doing it. Do that. Let's take this back up to the top. So the other one's about to turn. It is. Stop him. This thing is it's so close to being full, it's practically overflowing. It's what, 200 litres short of an overfill. There we go, let's get that one there. Spin this one around. Despite putting 2 headlands in, it still has to reverse to make the turn. The AI is very strange sometimes in the way it positions itself. Requires so much more room than a human player does. One of those little oddities. Oh, that's going to stop. Yeah, he's stopped already, look. That's fine. I just need to, again, just tag him a little bit, take a bit out while we turn around. Just take out about 1,000, 2,000 litres. And there we go. So we can empty this combine on this way down, and then we can empty the other combine on the way back up. And there is our rotation of combines. Keep them running at all times. The only wrinkle is, again, potentially, when we have to go and unload this. I'm hoping we can do this without a truck, and we could just run the auger back to the silo. It's not too far a distance, it's literally just across there, so we should be okay. It could be tight. As soon as that empties, that's close enough. I'm going to go and empty this now, because that gives me a little bit of time as well before this thing gets to the bottom, turns around and starts going back up again to get back onto the field and do the next unload. You can see our trees are actually starting to match the colour of our fields now. They're starting to look the same colour as the leftover stubble. That's kind of cool. That's one of the things I've really been impressed with Seasons, is just, you know, all of the extra transitions, and it just really does add so much character to a map when you can shift through the seasons like this and see, rather than just you know, a box of text popping up saying, oh, now it's spring, now it's summer, now it's autumn, actually physically seeing those transitions and seeing, you know, autumn tree effects and changes in lighting, and, you know, summer with warmer colours, you know, richer greens, darker greens, and longer days, you know, getting snow. It's just, and having it settle rather than just being a cosmetic thing where it looks like it's snowing but nothing ever settles. You know, Seasons has been phenomenal. It's so completely changed the way I play Farming Simulator. It's going to be so weird going back to 19, or going back to vanilla with 19. It's going to be very, very unsettling at first, I think. I'm going to want to approach it the same way as I approach a Seasons farm and not be able to. Oops. Crashed into my pressure washer there. I don't know which combine that was that just popped up. I didn't see which helper running it was. It's got to be the one going back up. The question is, can I get to it in time before he fills up? This is going to be tight. I think we can just about do this. Hopefully. Nope, he's full. Okay. That's fair enough. Well, same again. We can tag him, release him, and then finish him off. That sounds like a... That sounds like a hunt, doesn't it? We can tag it, and then we can you know, release it, and then finish it off. Yeah, it sounds almost like we're going hunting. Prey has been marked. Oops. And now I'm blocking the header. Straighten up. There we go. And we're back on where we should be. So as soon as we get to the top, we'll spin around, we'll tag the other combine, and there is our continuous, hopeful, continuous flowing of combines. I will run these for a bit longer, and I'll catch up with you when we've made a bit more progress. So we've been harvesting for a little under 2.5 hours now. We're not too far from getting another full auger. This one is just a few thousand litres short, and we're making really good progress, as you can see. That's how little is left on this chunk, and about the same over there on the other combine as well. So we really are rattling through this corn pretty quickly, which means the other field shouldn't take us too long, because that's a smaller field than this one. Even though it is two fields combined, they are a little bit smaller as a total area compared to this one here. Not by much, but enough. So we're going to be done mid-afternoon on our corn harvest over here, which makes me think that it's going to be worth us actually harvesting the other large field that we have over by the BGA, field 6. So that's close enough to being full. Let's cover our auger. make our way over and dump this in the silo. I'm going to cut across this field here because we can, it's ours, it doesn't matter. This will give us time to empty and get back to the combine, hopefully. Pop the pipe up. And get our second auger in. So the first one was around, what, 45,000 litres? 43, 45,000 litres? Something like that, somewhere in that region. We've got another 50-odd thousand litres going in here. So we're over 90,000 litres now into the silo. Between sort of 90 and 100,000 in that kind of area. And we still have probably another auger's worth of corn on the field, if not more. So we're looking at maybe 150,000 or so on the first field. Then the second field probably give us another sort of 100 to 120,000 litres. Maybe a little bit more. And then field 6. We're going to harvest field 6 and we're going to chaff field 5. We're only going to chaff one field, and the reason for that is we still have all that silage over there which we don't need. So we're going to sell that. So we need to have a little bit of chaff at the BGA so that we can then transfer our silage from here over to the BGA and stick it into an existing bunker. And then we can do another silage sell-off into winter. It's probably going to be quicker if I go this way, actually. There's the 80% warning. Timed it better this time, so we'll get back to the other combine before it fills. Ourselves alongside. There we go, perfect. So we just need to hold this line to the end of the field. Probably might have to stop and pause at the end of the field as well, actually. Just a little bit, yeah, just a little bit. Still going. There we go. And now we'll go over it and we'll tag the other combine as well. So, back onto the harvest. Not too much to go, and I'll see you as we're almost done. As you can see, we're not too far off getting this field done now. There's a pass left over here. I'm assuming there's something similar over there. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 2 passes left over there. But it's looking pretty close, as you can see. We're going to whiz off from here with just under 50,000. Make our way back to the silo. Because we are going to have to tag that one before he fills up. So we can judge how much is left. Yeah, that's 2 passes there, I think. You know, just a very thin little bit left over. There we go. And eagle-eyed of you may have noticed there is a gap in my equipment roster in the shed there. There's something missing where it normally lives. That is the Horsch Lieb. As we no longer need the Lieb, and because it takes up an awful lot of mod slots, I had to sell the Lieb just to make space slot-wise, because the Lieb takes up an insane number of slots. So that's gone. With repair bills and taxes and everything else, we managed to get about 100,000 for it, which isn't too bad. And obviously that money was reinvested in our new toy, which is on its way. It's been paid for, we're just waiting for it to arrive, and that should hopefully arrive either later today or early tomorrow. looking forward to messing around with that. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Again, as a long-term purchase for just one or two little bits that it's going to be doing, it's an obscene waste of money. But yeah, we're on our farewell tour, so we're using just stuff that I've really enjoyed using, stuff that I think is amazing. Some of my favourite mods where we can fit them in, and just a few other little bits as well. And the keen-eared of you out there, those of you with a good memory or long-time viewers of the channel, will realise or recognise that some of the music that I've been using over the last few episodes to do some of those sort of transitional kind of scenes, or time-lapsing kind of scenes, is actually theme music from my previous Let's Plays. Sort of as we're saying goodbye to Farming Simulator 17, I thought it was appropriate to kind of mix in some of that music as well. So we've already had the theme from Seasons in the Valley, I think. Was it Seasons in the Valley? It might have been American Midwest, actually. I'll have to think about that one for a second. And obviously Deutz Farm's theme has been in there as well. We may well get another little bit of music from one of our other farms in the future as well. You'll just have to listen out for that one and see if you can recognise which one it is. And do keep your favourite moments coming in, and it doesn't just have to be from this one. If you want to put a favourite moment that I've covered on Farming Sim 17 in general, then do let me know about that in the comments as well. As I say, it's our farewell tour to Farming Sim 17, because the game is now just days away, really. In the grand scheme of things, it's not far off at all. So that combat's going to try and start working, isn't it? We need to stop that. There we go. Let's get him straight onto this field here. So that's not too bad time-wise. That is 3.5 hours, effectively, just over, to do that field. It's not too bad. Well, let's make, by the time that pass gets done as well, we'll be closing in on 4 hours. That's not too bad for a big field like that. And you can see that this one, although being the same length, is a bit shorter. So this one won't take as long. This will probably take sort of between 3 and 3.5 hours to get done, I would imagine. But yeah, keep your favourite FS17 moments that I put forward on the channel in the comments. Really do want to hear from you guys on that, and it might help give you some ideas as well for going forward into Farming Sim 19, because it is going to be a very different experience, again, going back to standard gameplay instead of seasonal gameplay. It's going to take a little bit of readjusting. I might have to spend a bit of time playing 17 without seasons before 19 comes out, just to readjust to that sort of 24 to 48 hour cycle. Can I get this pass done? Just about. Okay, there we go. Needed my turning pass. Going to drive onto that farmer's field. It's close, but we got away with it. And same again, I'm going to end up cutting this field in half. Let's see, it's about halfway. That's not quite halfway actually, is it? Another worker has finished. Good stuff. That's a bit more halfway there, so let's pipe out. We'll unload and get him underway, and then we'll bring the other combine over and get that one started as well. And we may well have to do a border at the other end of the field. I'm not sure yet. I'll see when I get down there. So we have our first completely full auger, and this is going to be a bit more of a challenge because we've got a longer distance to get back to our farm, plus I've got to transition all the way down to the end of the field before I can start making my way back to the farm. This is going to be a long run. I think one of our combines might possibly fill up by the time we actually get back. We're going to have to cross country this all the way. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And then we've got all 53,000 litres that are going to have to transition their way out of this thing. I think just by the time I get positioned at the silo, the combines will have reached the top of the field and start their turnaround. It might have been better to have a truck on standby for this field, but we'll push on. We'll push on as best we can with the space that we have remaining. It's not going to be too bad, I hope. But we'll definitely need to take a truck with us when we do field 6, because we're way too far from the farm to run back every 50,000 litres or so. I might possibly take both trucks, or not both trucks, both trailers down with the dolly as well. I think that might be the easiest way for us to go about that, just to be sure. Because without one, I don't know. I mean, without the dolly, we'll have a total of 120,000 litres of storage, 70,000 in the trailer, and then 53,000, well, 123,000, yeah, 53,000 in this. That might be enough, it might not. Field 6 is a decent size. Not sure if it's about the same size as the field we're working on, but I don't know if I want to take that risk. It's going to be very tough to figure this one out, I think. Right, let's see if we can sprint our way back. Again, it's going to be quicker for us to go in at the bottom end of the field and drive up to the combines rather than trying to chase after them. If nothing else, we'll meet them quicker because we'll be driving towards them as opposed to chasing after them. There's the first one. Where's the one that we need to empty? There it is, a bit further back. It hasn't popped the 80% warning yet. So we have managed it. I thought that might be a bit more of a challenge, but we have actually managed to get back without any real issues. There's the 80% warning, and the lights are now flashing. Okay. Get lined up. I do actually quite like driving the augers like this. It's kind of cool. You get some really nice shots of the corn going through the header when you're so close to the combines as well. You can see through the grain window, you can see the grain dropping in. And it's just actually kind of cool to do this. Yeah, a lot of fun. Now the combine is going to be turning. There it is, slightly ahead of this one. There we go, try and get lined up. There, I think. That was on an 80% warning as well, I think. It's hard to tell because the beacons aren't flashing. Possibly was 80%. Right, let's chow our way through this corn here as quickly as we can. We do still have field 6 to get through today as well. Just a couple of passes left on each end of the field now. We've got this pass and then nearly a full pass, or nearly a full width of the header on the way back down again, and it should be about the same on the other side as well. finishing that pass and then running down for one more. So we're into the final stages of this field. Time is around about 4:30. I said this field will probably take us between sort of 3.5 hours. We weren't too far off that. It was what was it, 10 to 2 I think when we said that, and we're at 4:30. So yeah, I think it'll be about 3-ish hours by the time we're done on this field. That's not too bad at all, which is encouraging as well for field 6 in terms of time. We'll get that in and we should just about have a little bit of light left by the time we get there. It'll be sort of dark, I think, starting to get darker probably around about 6 o'clock. So sun isn't starting to set yet, but it's not too far away before we start to see those that sort of corona appear in the sky just over there. And we are going to take both truck trailers over there with the dolly, simply because I just don't feel confident enough to go with one. I don't think we're going to have enough capacity in total available. I'm going to need to refuel this as well. You can see we're starting to get into the red. 130 litres left. Our Magnum working very hard. You can see we noted how we'd already put over 60 hours on the Puma. We've already put nearly 70 hours on the Magnum. That's how hard this thing has worked for us since we've had it. That's a lot of time in this. A lot of time indeed. It's done all of our ploughing for us. It's done most of our seeding for us. It's done a lot of cultivating for us as well with that horse cultivator that we have. Our Joker, I think it was the Joker. So yeah, it's been a very, very hard working tractor for us. A lot of our equipment has been with us for a very long time actually. When you think about it, we haven't continually swapped out tractors. We started with the Puma and the Magnum and the 1455. We relocated the 1455 to the Orchard and it still sits down there at the moment. And we had that period where the Magnum broke down and we had to bring in a quad track just to cover it while it was being fixed and repaired. But apart from that, this has been ever present on our farm. The Puma is still ever present. That's got to be over 70 hours on it now, by now I would have thought. And that's kind of been reduced more to just yard work and taking care of the animals rather than actually getting out on the fields and doing stuff. So the Optum has come in and kind of carried the load between field work between this and the Magnum. But that's about it. Our combines, we got rid of them in the first year, the starting combines, the 1660s. We brought in one of these 7130s and then another one the following year. And it's been pretty stable equipment-wise. We've swapped out some tools for larger tools, but the actual nuts and bolts machinery and stuff that makes everything go has stayed pretty much constant all throughout our series, which is another thing I don't normally tend to do. I tend to try and upgrade my equipment and maybe get rid of older stuff, and I felt it was important to try and keep the same vehicles for this series. Keep the same combines, keep the same once we upgraded. We could have pushed these up to the 9210s, but we stuck with the 7130s. It just felt right to have combines of this size. The other ones would have been, I think, too big. And I do kind of love that kind of boxy shape of these 7130s as well. They do look very squat, very boxy compared to the other combines, which tend to drag out quite along at the back in comparison to this one. It's definitely got a more of a square boxy feel to it. I just like the look of it. The only downside to those is of course that they can't tow a header trailer, which is a little bit frustrating when you want to go off to a field that's a bit far away. You have to kind of transport the headers separately with a truck or a tractor, something like that, as opposed to taking them with the combines themselves. But it is what it is. You have to make sacrifices sometimes to certain equipment choices. Well, I've been very pleased and happy with the choices of equipment that we've made across the series. I think we've built a lot of character into this farm. And I remember when the Magnum broke down, so many people were so disappointed. It's like, no, not the Magnum. It's like it's become a favourite of the farm. And it's certainly become one of my favourites. Like I said at the beginning of the series, I didn't really use the Magnum for all that much. You know, I'd used it so much, and usually with a crawler track on contract work, especially on Mustang Valley. When I was doing large contracting jobs on that, I was regularly given a Magnum. Same on some of the larger fields. Back when I was first started playing on Goldcrest, I was always getting the Magnum for, you know, big contracting jobs, and I just never used it with wheels, and I never really purchased it for any of my Let's Plays. Never even thought about trying it, but this one, it just felt like the right tractor, and it's performed so well. I've been so impressed with it, so pleased with it as a choice of equipment, and I think it's worked out very, very well. Definitely been, I think, possibly my favourite vehicle of the series has been the Magnum. So let's get that refueled. There we go. And then we'll get this transferred over to Field 6. We'll get a truck with the trailers over there and the combines over there. And then we'll start harvesting that field as well. And that'll be the last field that we harvest. And then tomorrow we will chaff the corn on Field 5. And we'll also start to look at maybe transferring some of the little bits and bobs around as well where we can. We could be stuck here for a little while with this traffic. I've got 2 trailers, so I need quite a bit of space. But I hope this could be our opening here. Yeah, nothing's coming. There we go. And it's easier for us to get to Field 6 this way, simply because I don't trust the tightness of the exit. If we go out the north entrance or the north exit of the farm, it's very tight to get that 90-degree turn onto the road. So this is definitely the easier way. It's a little bit longer, but we do get this drive as well, which is a wonderful scenic drive. I do love going through that sort of little cutting as we drop down the hill and then sweep around here with the trees lining either side of the road, then opening out to these big open fields. In the summer, it looks great with the, some colour and life in those fields, and in autumn it looks great with the different shades in the trees, and you can see even the bushes here starting to turn a little bit brown, a little bit orange in places. It's a wonderful drive. I wanted to experience it, one more time, kind of start to finish. And again here, you can see the elevation changes in the road as it kind of dips and rises in the distance. And again, we can see the colour in the trees as we drive through, and the big open fields. And Mount Hood in the distance, you can see Mount Hood. It's kind of blocked by the pillar at the moment, but if we zoom out like that, you can see there, it's actually looking snow covered, which is kind of cool. I've never noticed that before. It looks as though it has snow on it at this time of year. That's very, very cool in the distance there. Right, so we're parked up with our truck just here. We need to get the combines up here and the auger, and then we can start our harvest here on Field 6. The truck, auger and second combine are already in position on the edge of Field 6. We're bringing the final piece of equipment we need up, as you can see. It's just turned 6 o'clock. The sun is starting to set in the distance behind us. You can just see that the lighting effect does seem to have changed a little bit. The sky is a little bit darker. Oops. And there you can see the sunset behind us. So we need to get rid of this section of field just here. Let's unfold the header and open up the tank. There we go. Once we've got this row out of the way, I might do a second one as well, just to make sure that we're well away from the road. And I'll probably need to do one at the top to avoid the ditch that's there as well. We'll have to wait and see on that one. We'll get to the top and see how the combines perform. We will have a little bit of tidying up to do once this field is finished, no doubt. There you can see the sky is darkening quite quickly now, getting some shadow here as well. You can see the shadow of the combine looming in front of us. Another lovely visual effect. Straighten up a little bit, there we go. Trying to avoid driving over the field and failing miserably. There we go. Let's get our beacons off, don't need those on anymore. Trying to keep it straight. I love that sort of glow on the side of the combine as the sun hits, that kind of light reflection there. I think it just looks amazing. I have a few different shots that I've taken throughout this episode, and that might possibly be the thumbnail because it just, I love that glow. That looks so cool. And with the dust sticking out behind us as well, you can see little bits of chaff popping out the back, and stalks of the corn that's been chopped. There we go. So we've got our header, our headlands in. Now we'll release the combines into the wild, so to speak. Let's find the halfway point of the field, which will be somewhere about here. There we go. Let's get the second combine in play. And away it goes. And this is the final harvest of our season, of our farm. You know, this entire Let's Play, the final harvest itself, not counting the chaffing, because that's technically not harvesting, it's chaffing. So the last crop harvest, I think is the right way to describe it, of the series of Lone Oak Farm, of Farming Sim 17 that we'll be carrying out. Just the chaff and then crop sales and animal sales to go, and the farm is done, and the game is done. Interesting times ahead. Well, as it turns out, just a single trailer would have been enough. I mean, you can see how much we've cleared off the field already, and that's not even 50,000 litres yet, it's just 45,000 litres, so we would have been fine with just a single truck. Never mind, we brought the other one over just in case. It was a precaution, it's not needed, but at least we didn't leave ourselves in a difficult predicament. And it's been a while since I've actually loaded grain like this into a pair of these trailers. Not since Mustang Valley, I think. Big Bud Farm was the last time I used a pair of these trailers in an auger like this. There we go. Nice big pile of corn in there. It's getting dark, as you can see. The sun is all but set. It's just a little bit of light left. That's going to disappear very, very soon. And we just need to finish this bit of field off here. I'm going to end up with an awful lot of corn at the end of this. I haven't looked, actually, to see how much is in the silo yet. I'm going to wait until we're done and get a final total, I think. It's going to be a lot, though. I wonder if it should surpass what we had last year, I think. I'm trying to remember how much we had. It was a lot. And this year I think we're going to have even more. So, yeah, we'll push on. We'll get the corn harvest done. And then see just how much we have left as the last of the light disappears over the hill. Okay, it's the last bit of that part of the field. The other combine's on its final pass up there as well. Just in front of us, it's really dark now, as you can see. Almost 8 o'clock and almost completely pitch black. I'm not sure if we're going to have a little bit of cleanup to do as well. We might do. Possibly. Oops. A little bit too close to the front of the combine there. There we go. So there we go, we've pulled, let's see, 45, 85, 90, 93 or so thousand litres off this field in total. Let's have a quick look, do we have anything up here that needs to be cleaned off? No, it's all done. It's all been claimed. Excellent stuff. So, get that folding up. We'll get this transferred into the truck. We might as well. If we brought the truck with both trailers, we may as well at least use them. We'll get that taken down, dumped in the silo, and see just how much corn we actually have. Okay, we are back with some grain in both of these trailers. Probably being very ambitious trying to get through there. Let's not try that. That's just a recipe for disaster. We'll go over this silo and swing around that way. I might have to actually detach each trailer as we make our way up to the silo itself. We'll see if we can do this. This is going to be tricky. And if you hear some strange noises in the background towards the end of this video, I do apologise, but it is closing in on bonfire night here in the UK as I'm recording this. It's the 3rd of November, and it got dark while I was recording, and everybody immediately started unleashing fireworks. So there's a lot of whooshing and whistling and cracking and banging going on in the background, and it's everyone's setting fireworks off on the estate. There's a big display going off somewhere by the sound of it. Right, second trailer. The last 14,000 litres. There we go, that's all of our corn. How much do we actually have? 380,635 litres. That is a lot. That's a lot of corn. Yeah, that'll be fun trying to sell off. And you can see that the price of beets is actually going up as well. It's up to 247 and climbing. That is encouraging to see, as we still have 240,000 litres of beets to sell. There you can see the price going up. It's going to go up again over the next few days. Ignore day 4. We've already discovered that was because of discussed that was because of a great demand. But we look at the price at sort of day 2, potentially could be quite a nice price. Day 3 maybe. A lot of beets to sell. We'll have to sell by conveyor, I think. But there we go. Our final harvest of Farming Simulator 17 of Lone Oak Farm. is finished. We have a little bit left to do to get the farm closed down. We need to chaff the corn that's on field 5. We'll do that tomorrow, put that in the BGA clamp up there, and then on top of that we'll probably have to take care of the animals tomorrow, and maybe do a little bit of selling off of some of our other commodities that we can get rid of. Maybe leftover hay bales and straw bales, things like that. And then we'll move into winter and we'll start selling bits of the farm off. So we'll sell off our animals, and then we'll sell off our silage, and then we'll sell off our crops. So not a lot left to do here at the end of our farm, but it's where all the money is going to be made. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of Lone Oak Farm very soon.